We're excited to have you, and will Mr. Sacco be making an appearance, or is that to be determined?
Well, yeah, I always pack him with me. You never know. You never know. My goal when I do these things, I don't wrestle anymore, but I try to make sure that I put smiles on faces, and if that involves, an athletic sock with a face on it, striking fear into the hearts of wrestlers, then I'll do what I have to do.
Right on, and well, we can't wait to see what's going to happen here October 20th. And just a couple quick wrestling questions here tonight as well. We do things for WrestlingInc.com as well. So it's always great to talk to folks in the industry and talk about their careers, albeit briefly tonight. A long time ago, obviously you're doing the one-man shows now. I actually watched a one-man show with the Hell in the Cell, and certainly that's a question you get asked off, probably most every interview. But did you ever expect it to kind of go on its own and really take a life of its own all these years later?
No. The idea that something I did, anything I did would stand the test of time was really not something I even considered. I thought I had like a year shelf life when I retired from full-time wrestling, and yet here I am 18 years later. I'd say half the people that come to my appearances, not the one-man shows because they're usually 18 and older, or 19 or 21 and older, but appearances like I did tonight in Ontario, Canada, it's like half the people at these appearances weren't even born when I was wrestling. So, and a lot of them say that match, that Cell match from 1998 was their favorite all-time match. So they didn't even have an internet. It was in its infancy. When I retired in '98, there was no YouTube, but there was no WWE network. But people still they remember me and seem to like me.
Yeah, in that moment, it still stands out in everybody's mind that appreciates the product and looks back on it. One of those hallmark moments that can never be taken away from you. It's going to go down forever, and as well as it should. But obviously now making the transition, you were just, within the past year, the WWE general manager and just made an appearance on there, albeit you got, I believe, some mace in your face there from Paul Heyman. What's the status now?
It was hairspray.
Oh, was it hairspray?
Yeah, I was okay minutes later. I actually got an ear infection out of it, so go figure that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good relationship with WWE, good enough that I can call up Mr. McMahon, and be in his office pitching an idea for the 20th anniversary of the Cell. They seem to like me, and they seem to know that they can call on me to enhance a big moment, and it's a good relationship to have.
Yeah, excellent, Mick. And just a few more quick questions is, a lot of questions that I get, covering wrestling is, they do ask about the Holy Foley show. What happened to it? People enjoyed it. They liked it. Obviously, your family involved and everything else. I mean, what's happened to that?
Yeah, we really enjoyed doing it. I think, it was an expensive show for the network to make. And I think if you look at some of their other shows, there's GoPro on a windshield. But they really invested, honestly, it's a GoPro on a windshield. I think if this had been a show that was on USA or E, that it would have, probably would have been a better home because you could have found, it would have, had the big budget for it and would have found fans who were not WWE loyalists. Like, I think Total Bellas probably has half their viewership who are not actively watching wrestling. So I was glad they took a chance on it. We really enjoyed the opportunity to have those 10 weeks together and to get paid. But it just didn't work out. Their highest viewed show of all time for a little while, but there's only so many times people can watch 10 episodes over and over and over.
Right. Well, like they say never. We'll be looking forward to something like that maybe in the future. And obviously Noelle, she was training to be a WWE diva. Is that something for her that she still wants to continue or aspire to be?
No. She got banged up quite a bit, injured, not just banged up, but injured.
This year alone, it's been a busy year for myself as well, getting out there, interviewing people. Talked to Terry Funk this year, talked to Dominic DeDucci this year. They both talked about your desire to be great in the business. And what drove you to go to the links? I mean, in a nutshell, what drove you? Was it just the entertainment of the fans, or was it, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just I went above and beyond to try to entertain. So I was glad to do it, and I just basically wrestled the style of match that I like to see, and tried to give people out there what I would have liked to have seen when I was up there.
Right on, Mick. Well, Mick, thank you so much. I want to say thank you again for taking the time for us. And I leave this last open question for you is, if you wanted to change one thing with wrestling today, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, what would you change with it?
Oh, man, that is a tough question. I think the perception that there's that a match can only be great if it has spectacular moves and multiple false finishes, near falls. So I think there's more than one way to have a great match, and I think the superstars are kind of pigeonholed into delivering what fans have come to expect a great match to be. So I think it's just a matter of conditioning people and having guys out there willing to take chances and kind of reteaching them.
Great, Mick. Well, thank you again. And, obviously, Mick Foley here for WrestlingInc.com. Obviously, other than the sell, my last official thing here now is just double-checking my notes, is what was your greatest time that you look, that gets, as time goes on for you, what's the greatest time in the business?
Maybe when I won my first WWE title from the biggest star in the world.
Yeah.
That's a good one. The bigger he gets, the better I look in retrospect. But that was a big moment even then, Looking back, that was almost 20 years ago. And so maybe I'll have another anniversary tour just to celebrate that moment.
All right, Mick, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you October 20th.
All right, sounds good.